Hello friends, Two-Wheel Rider here, coming to you with a new project bike. And I've had this grand idea, and it's been growing and growing and growing until we're here now. So what are we doing? So this is going to be over a series of episodes, probably the next couple of months, so keep an eye out for these. And the idea is to build a budget adventure touring bike in the small capacity line. And we know that these bikes are so popular now in the sort of 450 500cc, and I just thought, can I get what I want totally personalized to me, how I want it to look, within a relatively small budget. So I've picked up this bike, which I'm going to show you in a minute. We're going to walk around it, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing with it. But this bike will probably head down to France, and we'll stay in France through the winter, or maybe in the spring through the summer, to do a big tour with it next year, maybe down into Africa. But let's have a look at the bike and the stupid project that I've got going, which you're probably thinking is some sort of nutcase, but I'll show you what I'm going to be doing and how we're going to do it. Right, so here we are. This is the project bike, CB500x. I think this is the XA or something, sort of the base model. You get the X, the A, the XA, X, something or other. I think the last model they made of this was with the twin discs at the front and stuff like that, which then became the NX, didn't it? 500, which I tested a few months ago, if you want to check out that video. But this is the base model, so it's 2013. But let's have a look around the bike itself and show you what I've lumped my money into, and where this project starts and where I think it's going to finish. So let's have a look. So starting from front to back, what did I get in the first instance? So the bike's pretty standard, apart from a few really key bits, which is one of the reasons why I bought it. So we've got additional driving lights. So although I think these are actually wired slightly wrong, because in normal riding they're on, and when you put the high beam off they go on. When you put the high beam on they go off. So that's not quite right. So I think I'll swap them round, because when you get a high beam you just get less light. But not sure why they did it like that. But anyway, we've got the lights, and these are not the really cheap ones. These are actually quite good. So they're well weather sealed. What else have we got in here? Oh yeah, something nice. Heated grips. Excellent. So that's a nice addition to the bike. So we've got the heated grips on here. Other thing we've got, Jivy Monarchy top box. I don't know whether I'm going to keep that. I might stick with the Monarchy, but there's a slightly nicer, sort of squarer, I don't know if it's aluminium box, but that'd be a nicer box for that, but we'll see. But we've also got the Monarchy system underneath. In terms of condition, it's actually really good. And we've got 25,000 miles on this bike, but none of the cases are degraded, which is really nice. So it's not been sitting at the bottom of a harbour somewhere, which is really good. The wheels are all really nice, but I would say the tyres, I'm not going to keep the tyres. I did have a close look at these tyres, and now they're a little bit perished, but I'll have another look at those. But that's going to be the other sort of big ticket item, is going to be the tyres. Hello Maisie, we've got Maisie's coming on to a little look, just checking out the private parking. But brakes are all good, really efficient on here, really pleased with those. The other thing this bike has got, do you like it, Maisie? You happy with it? No, you're not. Okay. So the other bits we've got on here, which is quite interesting, which was another key point for me, is that the front sprocket's been changed. So this has now got I think it's a 17 tooth sprocket on the front. So that makes the gearing a little bit better. And just to give you an example, so about 4,500 revs, I'm doing about 70, which is really nice, really comfortable, which is very similar actually to my Interceptor. So that's great, don't have to do anything with that. Although I probably will put a new chain on. I'll probably go DID gold chain, and there's a reason for that, which I'll come to in a sec. It's got some crash bungs on it. They're all right, I'll leave those as they are. Other bits while I'm down here, things I'm going to change here. I'm going to change the gear stick. gear lever. I want something a bit more out and a bit more prominent. This is a bit like the Triumph 400X, where I can't find the gear stick easy, especially when you're wearing boots. So I want just a bit more prominent on that, but that's a relatively cheap fix. So that's the standard bike. It's in white, as we can see. Nothing else too drastic going on here. We've obviously got the standard dash on here. Let me get the key. I'll show you what we've got dash wise on here. So straightforward on that. It is obviously backlit. Let's turn my indicator off. One thing is interesting, you don't get a gear indicator on this, which I thought you would. You think it'd be pretty standard, but there's no gear indicator on here. But everything else is, you've got a decent fuel gauge, rev counter and speedo there. But therein lies another story with this, because I'm not going to stick, well, I am going to stick with that, but I'm going to do an addition to this. Right, let's turn that off. But in terms of service history, it's got a good service history. It's only just had major service at Honda dealer, which is really good, and it's done no miles since then. So yeah, really good. So what did I pay for all this loveliness? Can you guess? Possibly £1,850. So I thought that was actually a really good buy for this bike. And I say it doesn't look like it's been dropped or whatever. I noticed it did have an odd clutch lever, which is an adjustable clutch lever, but that's pretty horrible. It's too short. I'm going to revert back to the standard, or at least normal length, because I much prefer that. So what's the plan with this? Well, slightly in the title, I'm going to turn this into a mini Africa Twin, or Africa 500, or Africa Tiny, whatever you want to call it, which is just a bit of fun really. But I am going to use this bike to tour next year, and it will go down to France in the first instance. So cosmetically, what am I going to do to it? Well, I'll put a picture up of what I've actually seen, but we're going to have some blue and gold in here on the tank. There's going to be blue on the seat, similar to the Africa Twins, and obviously we're going to have gold wheels. So you'll hopefully at the moment you'll probably be seeing the picture of the styling that I'm going to do with this, which has already been on a CB500. So that's where I'm going styling wise. What about extra bits though? So touring screen going on, because this isn't doing anything for me. So touring screen's going on there. I've got pannier racks coming, but they are the soft pannier racks. I'm having soft panniers, not hard panniers. But I'm going to do a little bit of work on those soft pannier racks, because they only attach here and here and then through underneath. So for me they're not rigid enough, but I'm going to make some sort of fixing that takes a line from here down to make them a little bit more rigid. Soft panniers going on. Obviously the rear box thing, may keep that, may not, don't know yet. What else we got? Right, in terms of navigation, now I could, I'll get this out because I put everything conveniently in the box. I used to use one of these. So that is your standard Garmin. That's a car sat nav, but I used to use that on my CB500x and other bikes. And they work perfectly well on motorbikes, but they're not really weatherproof. But I don't really want it there. I want it up here. So what I've done, I've ordered the Chiggy, I'll put a picture up of it, unit, which has got the Apple Play and everything on there. Now they are normally about £300 in the standard form, but they are doing a deal. They're taking 25% off. So I picked one of those up yesterday for £235, and I'm going to make them out that fits it up here. That's what I'm going to try and do. And with the different screen, I might be able to just tilt the screen forward a little bit, and it'll fit there, because putting stuff down here gives you a bit of problem with the key and all the rest of it. So that's the plan with that. Probably going to have gold bars, but I'll probably have these taken off and re-powder coated like I'm going to do with the wheels. May put a lift on this as well, and to bring it up and back a little bit to give me a bit more room. But apart from that, and the slightly more sort of general purpose tyre, I'm not going heavy off-road, just give me a general purpose tyre on here. The project is to give myself a budget so that, including the cost of the bike, it comes to no more than £3,000. So we're at 1,850 at the moment. I've got 1,150 quid to play with to make this into my style of adventure bike, if you like, adventure bike, small touring bike, and that's what I'm going to do with it. And we're going to do a bit probably each month, maybe every couple of weeks. As bits turn up and I start bolting them on and working on it, I'll update you as we go. And then the first trip will be down to France. Not sure when, it may be this year, maybe next year, because this bike is going to spend a lot of its time in France to start with. So we'll see how that goes. And then if I'm really feeling adventurous, I will take it down to North Africa. From the house in France, that'll be the next plan. But you know, this is where the bikes are at the moment. We're all looking at these small capacity adventure bikes, and I just want to see whether I can make a really good adventure bike for £3,000. So how does the bike ride as it came? Well, really well. Engine's incredibly strong, as you can see. I don't think that's a stock exhaust. If it is, it hasn't got a baffle in it, but it's not unpleasantly loud. Gearbox is lovely and smooth, as you'd expect from Honda. There's nothing on this bike that's worrying me, thinking, oh, this is going to be an expensive start out. So yeah, gearbox is good, engine is good, we know it's been serviced, brakes are really good, no problems there. So I've got no big mechanical tickets to do, and it's just had a major service, so that should be fine. The suspension in standard trim on this bike is actually very good. I've not thought, well, I'm being bounced around, or it's bottoming out, or it's doing anything it shouldn't be. So in standard trim, if it is in standard, I don't know, you know, the bike's what, 12 years old, 11 years old, so it may have had some work done to it, but it feels good. The rear shock and spring look really clean, so I know these things suffer from rusty eventually, the springs certainly do, the coating comes off, but as it seems at the moment, it seems a very good buy. I could be proved wrong again, couldn't I? But there's lots of work to do on this bike, and I've got lots of bits I've already ordered that will be turning up, which pretty much bolt on, and I'll be showing those to you over the next coming weeks and months as the project continues. Right, so what do you think? Are we going to do it? £3,000? Are we going to stay in budget? I think so. But yeah, looking forward to it. And I'll be looking forward to starting up with all the kit on and just heading off to Africa. So it should be a bit of a laugh. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And watch out for the episodes marked up CB500x Africa, or Africa 500, or Africa Tiny. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet. But let's see where we go with it. Take care, everybody. Ride safe.